What's up, coders? I came across some discussion on MuleSoft developers forum recently regarding how to handle CSV input and convert it to XML, especially when you are dealing with some weird CSV format and unusual separators in it. So let's see how to solve this issue. As you can see on my screen, I have input CSV file in a weird format with tilde as a separator in it and expected output XML file. I'm going to use both of these files to create metadata for the MuleSoft so that at runtime, MuleSoft is very well equipped to process data and identify if the data is in correct format or not. Okay, so let's start coding. I'm going to create a new project here for this example. Sample CSV to XML. Just gonna copy the input CSV and output XML from my previous project. Right, there we are, and let's start coding. What I'm planning to do is I'll be using a scheduler in this case. I generally prefer scheduler instead of HTTP if I want to try out some code so that it's easier to invoke it right from here. If I'm using HTTP, as you know, we'll have to go to the browser and invoke it from there. But in this case, I'm going to use the scheduler. Just make it 1 hour and no start delay so that it starts working right away. After this, I'm going to read the file. So I'm going to go to File, Read option, drag and drop, create a sample configuration, default configuration for that matter. And I'm just gonna use the path SASI main resources, my input CSV file. Alright, this is done. Now the most important thing is we go to the MIME type and use application CSV, and because our separator is a weird tilde separator, we're gonna add the separator information here. This is how it is going to know what's the difference between the regular separator and the separator that we have. Now let's go to the metadata and add the metadata in it. I'm going to edit the metadata. I'm going to create a new type. Type ID is input CSV. Simple type is CSV. Example definition. Add the example, no, not this one. I'm going to upload the example from here. Again, SRC main resources input. Provide the delimiter. We don't need this one. As you can see, it shows the data in the correct format here. It all automatically added the sample CSV. Select. So now the metadata is set for reading. Now we are going to use the transformation component to transform this data. Now we are here. Output is application XML. Let's define the source, which we have already created. We are going to define the target. Add output XML format, example, go back to SRC main resources, use the output example. It's going to show up here, showing as expected, and there we are. So now it's just a matter of connecting the dots here. It won't work because have this, and now we just have to drag and drop the details here. As you can see, the data view have smartly added the loop here. to iterate on the payload and access the values. Payload.0 is the payload inside the loop, and from which it is extracting the details of the payload. If we go to the preview, it is generating the preview. As you can see, this is how it is going to show at the end. Just to be sure, what we are going to do is we're going to add a logger at the end of it, so that it gets, you can see in the log how the final output looks like. That's it. Now let's run this example. Alright, the output is here. As you can see, the output is pretty much similar to what we have in the output.xml. We use this to provide the metadata for our input transformation, the output transformer, and it looks pretty much similar to that. What we did was we provided the separator at the very beginning in the MIME type section itself. If you go to the XML version, there you can see that it is a semicolon separated parameter being passed in the output MIME type section. That's how the MuleSoft knows that it has to use that separator to process the input CSV file. If we would not have provided that, it would have treated each line as one column for us, which would have created a problem. But because now we have provided the separator, it is splitting each line into 4 different columns and provide us the correct data to process going forward. Some of the people also asked about if you want to split the XML into multiple XMLs, how do we do that? I would suggest use the for each section for that, for each facility of the MuleSoft, and then you can use a similar XML transformation for that matter, and split your payload into multiple XMLs. Hope this answers your questions. If so, please like the video and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like these. Also, don't forget to comment in the comment section if you want to see how to deal with any specific or complicated scenario in your MuleSoft project. Thank you very much.